What's up, guys? I'm going to be doing an unboxing for you guys today. So I've seen a few reviews about the John Paul saxophones, both the student or intermediate models, TS-400 and the AS-400, as well as the AS-860 and the TS-860. So I decided to go ahead and buy one. I got the TS-860 that's here in this box that you see. Basically, how would I say? I'm like a just being in full transparency, I'm like a mid-level pro, I would say. I went to college. I have a degree in music, so I understand theory, obviously well enough to have a music degree. But I wouldn't say I'm like at the level of a jazz master or music master. But I know what I know, and I know that I still have some room to grow as well. So in terms of being able to read, I can do all of that. I played in concert band, jazz combos. I'm currently a music teacher. That's what I do for a living. But I know I'm not like, a world-class saxophonist. However, I am a professional and I do know what I'm doing. With that being said, I will be providing this review for the saxophone and the unboxing, so it's a little bit of both. And it's just going to be an honest review. I'm not an expert on a saxophone. Even though I am a professional, I don't know everything that there is to know about saxophone, and I'm not trying to act like I do. Basically, this video is going to be me saying if I like this horn or not. I've been playing on a Selmer USA, which is basically like a step up from a student horn. It's kind of intermediate. So I felt like I wanted to go ahead and jump in and go at the pro level. But as you know, if you're a saxophonist, pro level saxophones can range anywhere from $3, $4 to $5, somewhere up to $8,000, $10,000. So I just didn't have that kind of money to spend on a saxophone right now, but I still wanted to have as high a quality instrument as I could get for the money that I was spending. So after doing some reviews and hearing the instrument, I felt like the John Paul saxophone was the best one. So here, basically this video is going to be me unboxing, showing you what I have, what came in the package, and then playing a little bit at the end. So catch you in a little bit. So I have two cases here. It's the ProTech. As you can see, it's more contoured, like shaped like a saxophone itself. It has two nice little pockets on the sides, and this is a pretty good case. It's definitely very strong. No issues in terms of structural integrity with the case. But as you can see, this is obviously this one feels a little heavier, the John Paul. I think it's just because it's just more case here, which is a good thing. So more case the better. Even though, sometimes they're a pain to carry, more case is more protection for your instrument. So that's never a bad thing. Just gonna slide this down. And another thing I noticed about the John Paul case, which they say, if you look at the reviews, is that it has these straps. So these are like backpack, you could put it on like a backpack. These are they have two straps, which I think would definitely help with the fact that it's heavier than its traditional standard case. So, or for me, it's the gig bag case that I'm used to. It's a little bit heavier than that. But definitely don't use those. When I was in high school, we used to have these gig bags, is what people will call them. Definitely don't use those. They it's all padding. There's no wood. There's no structural integrity to the actual case. It's just basically like a sack for your instrument. Now, I honestly wouldn't trust my instrument in that at all. But I guess if you're just going, something where you're going just light travel, around the town, but I still wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't do that. All right, let's get back into this. So let me go focus it down here. Let's open it up. Okay, so this is, you're seeing it for the first time as I am. I have not opened this case. I don't know what this instrument looks like, but okay. All right, so here's what we got. All right, so coming straight out of the case, they gave me a neck strap. It looks like a pretty decent neck strap too. I kind of have a similar one already. Oh, it's not bad. Doesn't really have any like design or anything on it, but I like it. I have a very similar one style-wise to this. That's cool. So that they gave you that. This little bag comes with cork grease, which you definitely need. Not a whole lot of. Don't overuse it. That's like a very beginner type thing. A lot of beginners, they overuse cork grease. Kids in my band do that. They give you 3 reeds, which is also very good because it helps you be able to get playing right out of the gate. You don't have to go to the music store and buy reeds. Also, this mouthpiece looks pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie to you. Mouthpiece looks pretty like a quality mouthpiece. Okay, it's a John Paul Optima TS-4. I don't really know anything about their mouthpieces, but this one looks pretty solid. And I'll play it to see what it sounds like, but I don't know, that might have to wait. I don't have any mouthpiece pads, and I don't really like my teeth directly on mouthpiece, so I'll probably end up playing with my mouthpiece, which is a Yannick Asala. But I do like the way that this mouthpiece looks, just aesthetically, and the ligature is also very beautiful. If you can see how kind of it's very shiny, very polished, which is, you know, a ligature is just a, you know, a nice little touch. TS-1. I guess that's a style of ligature that Diodario makes. Okay, so I'll try that in a second. I'm assuming that it must be this because I see the invitation. Okay, so we'll go with that. Nice mouthpiece cap as well. All right, now let's get into what we came to see, which is the saxophone itself and the neck, before you hear me play. Okay, so here's the neck. Ooh, that's beautiful. It has some nice engraving on there, if you can see that. I'll try to get out of the light a little bit. Okay, you see a nice engraving. That's very nice. Now, this is my first professional horn. I've had, you know, student horn, obviously, when I first started in school or whatever, and then I had an intermediate horn that I purchased later on when I was in college. But I've been playing that horn for a really long time, and honestly, I should have been upgraded years ago. But I feel really, really good about getting this horn, so hoping that it sounds really good. So as you see, that's the JP John Paul. Okay, here's the saxophone itself. Tenor saxophone, TS-860. Comes in a nice bag to make sure that you don't have any very shiny. Okay, as you can see. There we go. All right, now these keys, zoom in on that, they're like kind of like sparkly a little bit, which, you know, I think adds a nice touch. But, you know, that doesn't make or break a saxophone for me. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I've seen some different people making comments about that. For me, that's not like a thing that's gonna like terribly deter me one way or the other. Now, one thing I do see that's a little concerning is that this is, okay, I see what's going on here. That should be behind that. Okay, so my C sharp key, it was stuck out in front of the G sharp key. Now, I don't know if that was on purpose to make sure that it didn't get damaged, but yeah, that should never be like that. So now it wasn't even at first, but now it is. So it looks pretty much like it's supposed to. Okay, other than that, everything looks pretty good. Okay, I mean, it feels crispy. Left hand feels a little bit tighter than the right hand does. I don't know if that's how they calibrate their saxophones in general, but left hand just feels a little bit. The action just feels a little bit different, just be honest. You don't hear any clicking. It's very smooth. the new sax. Okay, now let's I've seen a lot of reviews. They were talking about this weighted neck screw, or I don't know if that's the official name for it, but that's what I'm gonna call it. Okay, I thought that it would come with a swab, but it does not. Okay, which that's not expected. I thought it had a swab that came with it, so I don't see a swab in the case. Let me check. Make sure, because sometimes these cases have like hidden compartments. Okay, I don't see anything. Okay, well I don't see a swab, so I have one already, thankfully. But if you don't have a swab, you definitely want to invest in one of those as well. Other than that, the engraving is really nice. Here's the this is the 10th anniversary edition, so as you can see, here's the engraving with that on there. 10th anniversary stuff, so that looks pretty cool. There's the actual John Paul Wind Instruments logo. More engraving on the back. I'm not gonna show you my serial number, but yeah, it's a real one. Okay. Other than that, all right. Let's see how the neck fits. Moment of truth. Very nice. Fits. I don't even really even. It's tight. I think. Yeah, that's nice. I don't even really even need to screw that in. It's that snug. Okay, they had 3 options that you could have went with. You could have went with the regular brass, polished brass, like this one. This is just a good old polished brass saxophone. I'm fine with it. I know some people like to do different things. Me, I just like a good old sax. You know, it looks good, very traditional looking. I feel like this is what fits me. So they had a silver option. That one was a little bit more. And they also had a I don't want to say unpolished or unvarnished. I can't remember what the exact term they used was, but it was basically brass that wasn't finished, unfinished, I think. And that one was the same price as the silver. So yeah, it looks good. All right, so next thing you know, I'll be playing it. So, all right, so I set my mouthpiece up. I'm about to just throw a little cork grease on here. Honestly, it's been a while since I've actually used cork grease on the saxophone, because on my saxophone, I guess so I just don't have to use cork grease anymore. If I do need to moisten it a little more, I just use a little salt. So, but because this is new cork, I advise that you go ahead and use the cork grease. You don't need a whole lot. Just let it kind of just, and the more time you use it, it'll just get worked into the cork, and it'll just kind of. Good cork, you know, it kind of just stays. If the cork was put on right, it'll stay hydrated, it'll stay moisturized. You don't need to keep on the cork. This one's brand new, so my mouthpiece setup is a Yanagisawa. I honestly don't know the tip opening. It's probably either, I would assume, like a 5 or a 6. It's a hard rubber Yanagisawa mouthpiece. The Rovner, just a regular Rovner ligature, and 2.5 Van Doren ZZ for the jazz reeds. So I've never played the saxophone before. It's the first note. So, excuse me. Cut that out. Edit that. All right. Definitely, I can feel that it's different than my saxophone, than my typical. Okay, it feels like, yeah, it feels way different. Okay. This is like isn't a brand new reed, so it's kind of I've played on it for a while. Feels pretty good. Okay. All right, let me play a little tune.